It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the Vice-Chancellor and Principal of the University of Johannesburg, Professor Tshilidzi Marwala's US Alumni Engagement. And as I say good afternoon to colleagues here in South Africa, I want to extend a special welcome and greeting to all our friends and colleagues joining from around the world, and of course, across the US in particular. You're all warmly welcome, whether it's good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. My name is Ylva, Rodny-Gumede, and I am the head of the International Office here at the University of Johannesburg, and I will be your MC for this event. The program that we have put on for today is as follows. We will start with an address by the President and Vice President of the UJ Convocation. And this will be followed by an address by our illustrious alumni, Mr. Len Wolman, joining us from the US. And after this, we will have a keynote address by our Vice-Chancellor and Principal, Professor Marwala himself. And as we will try to have as an interactive engagement as possible, we have a Q&A session scheduled as well, to which we invite you all. Please post any comments or questions that you have in the question and answer chat box to the right of your screens, and we will try to answer as many questions as possible. And for ease of reference, you also have access to additional information in the chat box, including full biographies of our speakers. And we will also end today with a vote of thanks by our Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Nolwazi Mamorare. So without much further ado, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our two first speakers, the President and Vice President of the UJ Convocation. The Convocation is a very important statutory body of the university, as it serves as the official interface between the university and its leadership and its alumni. And it's the primary channel and platform for the alumni of the university to engage with the broader university community and pass on any comments, opinions for consideration. And our two speakers are, firstly, Professor Boitumelo Diale, who is the President of the UJ Convocation and the head of the Department of Educational Psychology here at UJ. And she's joined by the Deputy President of Convocation, Mrs. Zanele Modiba, who is a personal development speaker and a marketing specialist, and the CEO of her own strategic marketing consultancy, The Alternative. Prof. Diale, Mrs. Modiba, the floor is yours.
Opportunity as the President of the Convocation to give thanks to the organizers of this occasion and to also allow us to say we find it very much humbling that we have an opportunity to engage with you in this occasion. For us as the UJ Convocation, and as you are fellow members or fellow convocants, we are aware that we are facing a very challenging time globally in terms of COVID-19, which has negatively impacted basically on our own social, emotional, and economic status. However, this particular radical change that we find ourselves in have not led us only to reflect on the role that we play as individuals, but also on the role that we play as the Convocation of the University of Johannesburg. And it has also allowed us to strengthen our convocation and to increase our visibility to the communities we serve. As a statutory body of the university, the Convocation must play a role in promoting humaneness as enshrined in our country's constitution and in our UJ values. Therefore, we want to take advantage of the overlooked opportunities that have the potential to bring about change in communities and shape the future of South Africa. Fellow alumni from the US, allow me to introduce you to my executive committee. As the president of the UJ Executive Committee, the UJ Convocation Executive Committee, allow me to introduce you to the group of excellent people that I am driving this ship with. I would introduce to you my Deputy President, Mrs. Zanele Modiba, to whom I'm sharing the stage with today in terms of presentation. I also want to introduce to you Mr. Msizi Khoza, who's the member of the EXCO and also a member of the UJ Council. I want to introduce to you Ms. Confidence Tshilidzi, who's also the member of the EXCO and a member of the Council, and also introduce to you Ms. Mandy Wena, who's also the executive member of the Council. Together as the executive of this Council, during our tenure, we started last year in September. Our goal is nothing less than to create a positive experience for all, uphold the reputation of and respect for the University of Johannesburg, and to become the voice of the UJ community in general and the alma mater in particular. We further take serious responsibility of our roles and responsibilities as the Convocation, as illustrated in our UJ Convocation Charter. Through this, we intend to promote collaboration amongst internal and external structures of the university through various alumni projects, which will be presented by our Deputy President, Ms. Zanele Modiba. So I want to ask you to go and visit our site, where you will find our constitution, you will find our charter, which talks to the roles and responsibilities as presented in the slide that I have shown now. It is a pleasure to me to give over to Zanele to talk to you through our projects that we have as the Alumni Office and the Convocation. Ms. Modiba, over to you.
Zanele, just unmute, please. Zanele, sorry.
Can everybody hear me? Great. I'd like to speak to the projects that we have identified pre-COVID-19. And I think for us, really what's close to our hearts is really trying to emphasize the concept of really networking. The two main projects that we want to speak about is our decision to contribute towards the building of the University of South African female resident. We hold it very close to our hearts that females are, in particular in tertiary institutions, the higher number of individuals that are there. We want to create a safe space for female residences. And as the Convocation, we decided there are two big initiatives in the coming years would be to contribute significantly to the building of a Soweto female resident, as well as the establishment of an alumni house, which currently doesn't exist. We all know that networking, connecting, and really leveraging relationships is a big benefit of the alumni. And we really want to leverage relationships through proximity within an alumni house. And so we're quite excited about those projects. And seeing as our country has now gone to level 1, we can start ramping up discussions around making sure that those two premium products of ours come to fruition. On top of that, I'd like to speak to the benefits of being part of the UJ alumni. We have benefits that range from digital certificates and electronic academic records. And this is really important because you can access your digital certificates via our platform, which is quite interactive on the University of Johannesburg website. And this is important in that you use these certificates to verify to people of interest, to feature employees and employees that might want to what you're doing and what the qualifications are. And what's really important is that the convenience and the big relief is that this is a free benefit for all UJ alumni. And I think it's really, really important that we also have electronic academic records that can be shared freely. This is a proper official document of the university that is verified and can be shared through various programs. A lot of our alumni are very excited about this project because a lot of documents go missing, people misplace things, and so having digital certificates and electronic academic records really helps ease of use for all our alumni. The big feature that we really want to focus on today is our Alumni Connect, which is a social media platform that is really for alumni and pre-alumni. So basically your last or fourth year students are able to access this network and really be connected, mentored by, and really leverage relationships through mentee and mentor relationships. This platform enables old alumni. For instance, if you're in the US and you really want to give back to alma mater through mentorship, through skills and development, through learning, this is the platform platform to use to connect with people that you went to school with, to connect to people that are on the same residences as you in the past, and really just leverage relationships, not just for employee relationships, but also to build businesses, to build networks, and to just literally leverage the benefit for all the participants. And so for us, we really implore you, if you are an alumnus, if you haven't gone to UJ Connect, this is a platform that's going to garner you the most relevant and impactful practical solutions and ideas and connections. And last but not least, we have our Alumni in Boitumelo magazine, and this is really, really important for us. And this is a platform where we actually feature success stories within the institution, but also from our illustrious alumni. And so what we really want to do is focus on the benefit of having been an alumna of UJ and really talk to success stories that make sense. Impumelelo really means success in isiZulu. So for us, we take the effort, the connections, the leverages that you have as alumni, very important, and we feature it in this magazine as a way to connect you with your alma mater, and also as a way to leverage and obviously profile your success. And these are just some of the projects that we've been working on. There are lots of benefits that we will be streamlining downstream. Obviously, COVID has impacted some of our plans, but we really, really intend to make sure that there are practical, valuable inputs and benefits as an alumni. So we encourage you all to please go into Alumni Connect and register and sign on and start having genuine relationships on a practical level with your other alma mater participants. Thank you very much. I'll go back to Prof. Diale to just close off our input for you. Thank you.
Prof, please unmute.
Prof, to me, please just, sorry, you are still muted. Just start again. Thanks. Prof, to me.
We can also come back to Prof. Tumi during the question and answer session. If we can't get her right now. I don't.
Ylva, she's just on mute still. I can see she's talking, but it's not coming through the sound. So, Prof. Tumi. I don't know what's wrong.
So I say, otherwise we'll come back to Prof. Tumi during the question and answer session. Now, I don't know whether we have our next speaker online with us. If Mr. Wolman has managed to connect.
Not yet, Prof. Can we move to Prof. Marwala, please?
We can absolutely do so. Apologies, colleagues and friends, that we have a few little technical snags here tonight, but that's always going to be, and I hope we can tie it all up during the question and answer session as well. So without that much further ado, it gives me a tremendous pleasure to introduce the Vice-Chancellor and Principal of the University of Johannesburg himself, Professor Tshilidzi Marwala. Professor Marwala will tonight talk on the topic of the challenges brought about by the COVID pandemic and the importance of alumni engagement and the link of this to the strategic focus of the University of Johannesburg and UJ's commitment to being a leader in the fourth industrial revolution. Of course, these are topics he knows very well as the Deputy Chairperson of the Presidential Commission on the Fourth Industrial Revolution, among other things, and as a researcher and engineer with expertise in artificial intelligence, computer science, finance, social sciences, and medicine. I think that this is a very short introduction, but I think it gives enough of an overview so that we can enjoy the keynote address that he will deliver to us. Professor Marwala, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Professor Ylva Rodny-Gumede. I hope you can hear me. I also would like to acknowledge the President of the Convocation, Professor Diale, also the Deputy President of the Convocation, Mrs. Zanele, Modiba, and all our alumni in the USA. We never planned to have this engagement as such. We were hoping that we were going to come to New York to talk to you so that we can see how we can work together. But of course, due to the pandemic, the coronavirus pandemic, we will have to do with technology. In 2017, when President Ramaphosa gave his State of the Nation address, he drew on Hugh Masekela's beautiful rendition of Tuma Mina, or in English, Send Me. For a nation so fragmented by politics and dark history, it was a clarion call for us all to band together once again. Our university serves as a microcosm of South Africa. Though many of you have not been students for some time, you are part of the UJ community. Some of you may have graduated from our legacy institutions, the Randse Afrikaanse Universiteit or Wits Technical. After all, becoming alumni is the final stage of the student's life cycle. It is my hope that we will continue a long relationship with you. Importantly, we are here to explore together how we can heed the call of Tuma Mina in our own communities by working to preserve the brand and strategy of the University of Johannesburg. Our university has carved a footprint for itself in South Africa, Africa, and across the world. We are a university worth talking about. Our rankings are a testament to this. According to the latest QS World University Rankings, our university has risen by an impressive 62 places from last year's global ranking position. Remarkably, we have now broken into the top 500 position for the first time and are ranked globally at position 439. Not only has UJ improved upon its overall score, but it is now ranked at 3rd in South Africa and 4th in the continent of Africa. Significantly, we are the only university in South Africa that climbed these rankings. UJ has also seen an upward trajectory in the 2020-2021 Center for World University Rankings and University Rankings by Academic Performance Field Rankings published last week. In the CWUR rankings, UJ was the only South African university inside the top 10 nationally to have improved and climbed this year from its previous position. We climbed by a considerable 55 places from last year's 2019-2020 global ranking and retained our excellent position as one of the best universities in the world out of 20,000 universities that were surveyed. In the UREP, University Ranking by Academic Performance Field Rankings, UJ featured and ranked in 18 of the 61 UREP field rankings, 3 more than last year. UJ has been placed 75th overall in the world out of more than 850 participating universities across 89 different countries for global, societal, economic, and environmental impact in the latest Times Higher Education University Impact Ranking. In addition to being ranked 75th in the world in the overall impact ranking table in the 2020 THE University Impact Rankings, UJ was also recognized for and excelled in several specific SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. It was ranked in the top 100 for the following sustainable developmental goals. Number one is the first SDG, no poverty, it was ranked number 8. The 10th SDG, which is to reduce inequality, it was ranked number 30. The 4th SDG, which is quality of education, it was ranked number 44. The 8th SDG, which is decent work and economic growth, it was ranked number 48. SDG 17, partnerships for the goals, it was ranked number 50. And SDG number 5, gender equality, it was ranked number 75. It is clear that we are making progress as the University of Johannesburg. This is the stature you hold with you as alumni of the University of Johannesburg. It is through today's talk that I want to reacquaint you with your university. We want to assure you that you can be proud to call yourselves UJ alumni. It is a sign of the strangeness of our times that I speak to you not in person, but through a digital format. At the start of the year, few could have predicted that this would have been our trajectory. The spread of a virus in China, then to the rest of East Asia, did not seem like it would shake our world order. There are no words to ascribe to this period we are in, even though the phrases unprecedented, uncharted waters, and pandemics have become part of our repertoire. Admittedly, this is not the new era I had so often spoke about. We have certainly been thrust further into the fourth industrial revolution as we embrace new forms of teaching, learning, and working. Since the first rumblings of COVID-19, we have been agile, responsive, and constantly aligning ourselves with national strategies and with the best practice in the world. Despite a seemingly challenging shift, we have certainly seen successes. For instance, our undergraduate success rates for the first semester was 86.3% compared to 84.7%. In fact, it was 88.3% compared to 84.7% last year. Class attendance was on par this year with last year, while student cancellations were lower this year than last year. And this is a testimony that the University of Johannesburg has actually entered the COVID world well armed to thrive in this new era, and we will continue to thrive as the university. While some students have returned to campus, our online offering will continue for the rest of the year. We have worked on prioritizing students that require access to facilities such as laboratories or clinics, ensuring that all the necessary COVID-19 health protocols and safety standards are implemented. Where challenges have cropped up around access to devices and data, we were quick to respond. We have provided monthly data packages to all our students and distributed more than 5,000 electronic devices so that our students can have access to the learning material. We are ever mindful of the inequities in our society, which plays itself out in our student population. In many ways, we have used this time to heed the nation's call to Tumamina to send us. We have begun to find a rhythm and worked hard to make the abnormal normal. It is not just in the teaching sphere that we are seeing success. The university has continued to participate and contribute to discussions and intellectual debates in public spaces on COVID-19. You have no doubt read about truly enterprising work undertaken using 3D printers to produce PPE, for example. Our ventilator project, created by 3D printers, has won an external tender bid of 30 million rands. This is one of several areas where the university has ensured that it is at the forefront of this battle with this pandemic. We are also seeing a fundamental shift in the fight for social justice. Many more than before have sounded a clarion call for greater equality across gender, class, and race. While the COVID pandemic might itself become the object and subject of research, I believe that greater focus will be given to issues of justice, the utilization of technology for good for all, and finally, a quest for the progressive society. This will perhaps be the greatest definer of this new world order. Now we look to the future in an uncertain world. Mapping out a trajectory for a post-COVID-19 world is no easy feat because of the unpredictability of the pandemic. In this, the world we envision after a vaccine, or is this the world we envision after a vaccine, or as many experts will tell you, the virus persists, but we adapt. What we are clear about is that the trajectory of our university is that we are going to play a meaningful role in this new normal that is upon us. UJ is widely regarded as a model for other universities in leading the fourth industrial revolution conversations in South Africa, the continent, and the world. And we work with companies such as Google and Microsoft to bring these technological developments into our society. The pandemic has served as an important purveyor of truth for our preparedness for this shift. The fourth industrial revolution, simply put, is the age of intelligent machines characterized by technologies such as AI, the Internet of Things, augmented reality, and 3D printing, for instance. These disruptive technologies are fundamentally changing the way we learn, live, work, and relate to one another. Universities have to shift their roles towards a focus on emerging requirements of business, government, and society in the light of this development. Here at the University of Johannesburg, now we have a compulsory class for all our students on artificial intelligence. The changes that will be brought about by this revolution will be rapid and often unpredictable. It is crucial that our planning processes allow for constant adaptation. The ability of the continent, countries, organizations, and individuals to rapidly adapt and evolve to take advantage of the changing environment will be essential. The media space, the think tanks, government, and many other players in the field have now realized that the tomorrow they may have been imagining is already with us. UJ has led the charge actively. In 2018, when I took the reins as Vice-Chancellor, and to build on the legacy left by my predecessors, I introduced Industry 4.0 to the university as part of the already existing Global Excellence and Stature strategy, which initiated a highly successful developmental trajectory in terms of the university's global academic standing and was adopted in 2013. Through GES 4.0, UJ intends to advance and position its strategic intent of attaining global excellence and stature within the context of this development in the technological sphere, and to support the African continent in transforming itself to become more globally competitive. Importantly, UJ's approach to these technological developments will have a Pan-African focus with the goal of ensuring that the continent provides at least some answers to the challenges raised by these technological developments from an African perspective, taking into account of the needs that our society and our continent actually face. Already we have seen in a shift in the way our students are responding. We have master's dissertations on how to 3D print your world and robots developed by students to demonstrate how programming can make inanimate objects move via coding, enabling the robot to solve many complex problems in the lab and very soon in our society. This year, we launched, as I have already said, a compulsory AI course for all years, and we are going to expand this to other technologies such as blockchain and Internet of Things. We are on the precipice of change, now even more so as we navigate the pandemic, as countries adapt to the elements of the fourth industrial revolution. UJ has to be and will be leading and challenging conventional stereotypes through our strategies. UJ is seeking to position itself strategically within the context of the changing social, political, and economic fortunes of South Africa in particular and the African continent in general. The continent can no longer be a passive recipient, but a leader and a contributor to these developments in the technological space. I began with the words of Hugh Masekela, a giant of South African music, and I leave you with the words of Bob Dylan. The times, they are changing. I remind you of the inextricable link you have with our university, a university that needs you to work with us to reimagine and reinvent the future. Thank you very much. Kia libuwa, baya danki. Ngiyabonga.
Many thanks for that address, Professor Marwala. And I'm glad you said the answer is not blowing in the wind when you quoted Bob Dylan. The answers are flowing out there in the ether, and I'm hoping that we will get to some of those when we have our question and answer session as well. I do believe, and correct me colleagues if I'm wrong, that we have Mr. Wolman with us. Am I correct?
Ylva, that's correct. I've got Mr. Wolman joining us via my speaker.
Oh, fantastic! That's technologically innovative, I would say. So thank you for that. It's with great pleasure that we then can introduce the last speaker, and that is Mr. Wolman, our illustrious alumni, who is joining us from the US despite some technological problems. And you know, we are getting used to everything working smoothly these days, but sometimes things trips us up. So we are absolutely happy that you could join us. And for those of you who don't know Mr. Wolman is the chairperson and chairman and CEO of the Waterford Group. And under its leadership, Waterford has established itself as a leading company in the hospitality industry and is operating hotels and venue properties throughout the United States. He also holds a national diploma in hotel management from the Hotel School of Technic and Witwatersrand here in South Africa, which of course now forms part of UJ. And he also serves as a member of the Board of Governors of the University of Johannesburg and sits on the board of our own school and tourism of tourism and hospitality. So, Mr. Wolman, it's with absolute pleasure that I give you the stage, and I hope that everything will go smoothly for your address. A warm welcome, and please go ahead.
Thank you, and it's unfortunate we've had some technical difficulties. I'd like to just check that everyone is able to hear me. If you could give me some feedback, please.
Yes, yes, we can hear you, Len.
Okay, good. Thank you. It truly is an honor for me to be on this call and speak with all of you. I hope that you will indulge me as I share a little background on myself, our organization, and how rewarding our involvement with UJ has been for me personally and us as an organization. As mentioned earlier, I graduated from the hotel school in 1976, where I believe I received a great education. This has allowed me to achieve both my professional and personal goals. I immigrated to the US in 1977, but always kept my connections with South Africa. I reconnected with my alma mater in 1990 and established a bursary program that would allow selected graduating students to come to the US and gain experience working in our organization for a year. Over the years, we have had anywhere from 1 to 3 students participate in the program annually, allowing well over 30 students to take advantage of the program and launch their careers, both in the US and South Africa. This has been a rewarding and beneficial program for both the recipients as well as our organization. The person I am most proud of who's on our call today is Dwayne Schroeder. Dwayne participated in the program in early 2000 and now is the Vice President of Operations, responsible for leading a team of people operating all of our properties. Over the years, we have participated in events, board meetings, guest lectures, mentorships, roundtable discussions, visits both physically in person and virtually by video or phone with UJ. This has kept us connected, educated, informed, and current, building great relationships. We were fortunate to be part of the team that were involved in the development and building of the new School of Tourism and Hospitality in Auckland Park that opened in 2005 after the merger of Vista and Rao to form the University of Johannesburg, and are so proud to be associated with the incredible team of leaders and educators that have led the school to achieve the prestige, success, and ranking that has in South Africa, Africa, and worldwide, as Prof. Marwala spoke about earlier. We would not have achieved the success we have achieved as individuals without the educational foundation and support, guidance, and assistance we have received during our careers in various ways from individuals and mentors. We have always believed one can never forget where one comes from, where one started, and there's nothing more rewarding and gratifying than to help others, give back, and watch young graduates build their careers. UJ is launching this US Alumni chapter mentioned earlier. The hope was that earlier this year, we would have that meeting in person in New York. Unfortunately, as we all know, we have experienced the pandemic, and as a result, this team's meeting today. We really encourage you all to get involved, find ways to help UJ and our students in various ways. As challenging as the pandemic is, technology has allowed us to connect in so many ways. We hope that you will get involved and benefit the way we have, both personally and professionally. UJ needs our help and support, as do the students and future generations. We have all been successful. It is important that we help our alma mater to be the best it can be and give back in every way that each of us is comfortable with and are able to. We plan to continue to stay involved, support UJ however we can, and hope that you will join us in this endeavor. We look forward to meeting you all in person when the world returns to normal, hopefully soon. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Wolman, for that address. And I could not agree with you more on several aspects that you said. Well, all of them, I should say. The fact that we want to meet in person soon, but then also how absolutely proud we are of your achievements and of all our alumni. And the School of Hospitality and Tourism here at the University of Johannesburg is really one of our flagships, and we are tremendously proud of it. And it keeps on rendering fantastic service to us all. Unfortunately, not virtually yet, but it will do so when we can meet again. There are a couple of questions that have come up on the chat box, and I will encourage you all to keep on posting questions as well. And I'm seeing that there are some questions that talk to UJ and the teaching and learning aspects of what we do, but also some question that talks directly to the alumni. And I see that we have a question from Philip Myberg that actually I would like to post directly to the President and Deputy President of Convocation, if you can unmute yourself. And it's from Philip Myberg, and he asked for an overview of the alumni. Where are our alumni, and how many alumni do we currently have, and where are they from, where are they currently located, etc. So maybe if I can ask Prof. Diale and Mrs. Modiba just to give us a little bit of an overview of our alumni, that would be fantastic. And then we go to the teaching and learning questions afterwards.
Thank you, Prof. Rodney. Am I audible now? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Prof. Rodney. And thank you for the question in terms of where our alumni is. Currently, as per the last time when we checked, our alumni are actually spread in various spaces across the world. Obviously, a majority of them are within South Africa, but spread all around the 9 provinces of South Africa. And we have established, as in today, which is part of today's discussion or occasion, that we also have alumni that are spread all over the country, in the US, in the UK, and in Asian countries. So this is, since our term of office, this is our first international engagement with our US alumni, and we are looking forward to spread our wings to check in terms of the other continents and other countries around the world in terms of bringing together all our alumni and investigating where our other alumni, and begin to form these chapters around the world. So it is a pleasure to say this is our first chapter, international chapter, to be formed. We are, however, looking forward to form more chapters within in the world, within various countries and various continents. Thank you, Prof. Rodney.
Thank you for that. I don't know if Mrs. Modiba, if you want to add something to that in terms of our alumni from your perspective.
I think Prof. Diale has said it all. I think what's important for us as a new convocation is that we want to entrench the relationships that currently exist. Because of our physical locality, I mean, most of our alumni are based in the Gauteng and the Western Cape and Pretoria vicinity when we look at our numbers. But what we are trying to do is connect with those, obviously, that, as Prof. Diale mentioned, that are in the Americas, that are in the EMEA region, and that are in the UK. And as you'll see us going forward now, we'll start rolling out a UK chapter, an Asia chapter, and an Australian chapter, where a lot of our alumni have also relocated to. So we are very global, but mostly concentrated within the Gauteng and the Western Cape area. And that for us is very important, why we want an alumni house to be one of our key projects to fund, in that we can foster the proximity, the relationships that are closer and in close proximity, and give them more meaning and more practicality, and then hopefully link on virtually, because we are in the virtual world now, to our other chapters. So we are looking to grow, and we're looking to connect with all our alumni all over the world. Thank you.
Thank you for that. We actually have two more questions that talk directly to the alumni, and one I got directly from a colleague who can't post on the, who says, which is directed directly to Mr. Wolman. I hope we still have you with us, and that is, it says, what is the most important aspect of alumni contributions, and how can we guarantee success as alumni? Do we still have Mr. Wolman with us? If not, we also have a question that I think that Prof. Diale or Mrs. Modiba can answer maybe, and this is from one of our participants tonight, colleagues, who says, what's the best way to connect with alumni in California?
Thank you, Prof. Rodney. And I actually just got numbers from our alumni office just to give, to say around the world, across the world, we've got about 200,000 alumni across the world. And the best way, as we say, our Alumni Connect is one of the best ways that we are trying to connect with alumni across the world. We would, if we would be glad if our alumni can visit our Alumni Connect and also visit our website, our UJ alumni website, where details will be actually given, will be actually displayed there. However, as the colleague who's asking how we can connect with the alumni in California, did you say in California? We would be very much welcome if he can actually send us the email, because we will be happy to have somebody that we can start engaging with as we try to build these chapters around the world. So it will be a great pleasure if they can send us their email and we can start building that group from California.
Thank you for that. I was just updating our colleagues on the question and answer box here, because I think it's good to know these kind of things, and I think it's important to know then that the Alumni Connect is also an instrument for interaction and staying in touch. There are a few questions about projects that the alumni can get involved in. What specific projects do you say we have that alumni can get involved with? And I think that maybe we should let our Vice-Chancellor come in here as well, but maybe over to you first, Prof. Diale.
Thanks, Prof. Rodney. Let me allow, in terms of the projects that we have, let me allow my Deputy President, Ms. Zanele Modiba, because she has addressed part of it in her address at the beginning. Zanele, can you please address the issue of the specific projects that we